Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. What's going on? We'll get started here in a few moments. John P, thank you. Yes, been seeing all of the chatter online. Today we're going to talk about credit is not income. So we'll get started here in a minute. Make sure you guys share this live. I think this is a live that a lot of people need to hear today. Today we are going to be talking about credit is not income. Let me give a few minutes. See, the Instagram is running slow, TikTok running slow, or it could just be they don't want me to deliver this information today. And that's fine too. Make sure you share this live. Drop your name in the chat or where you chiming in from, or drop your business name. On TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Today we're talking about credit is not income. Credit is not income. So we'll get started here in a few moments. Again, drop your information in the chat, your business name, where you chiming in from, all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys hopping on from YouTube. We got TikTok slowly building. I don't know what's going on with Instagram. They have not been showing me any love lately. But I'll go ahead and get started. Maybe people can catch the replay. But today we're going to talk about credit is not income. Derek, what up from Michigan? Shay from Chicago. So I get so many people who are on these apps, and I'm looking at 3 different screens. So I'm streaming on multiple different places. So I get a lot of people who I'm seeing on these apps who are talking to people, making credit sound so accessible, but talking from a standpoint of utilizing credit as income. I get a lot of people who are saying, just get some credit and run it through your merchant account so the banks can see that you're making money. Look, let me tell you guys something. Credit is not income. And it is that lack of financial intelligence. It is that lack of financial, a lack of financial discipline, which is why a lot of people continue to stay within the cycle of being financially ruined. See, there's so much that people are not educating themselves with in relations to understanding the purpose of credit and how it is to be utilized. See, when I started this process of really learning about credit all the way back in 2007, it was because I had a mentor at the time who told me, he said, Will, eventually credit will become the new dollar. Now, here's the thing. Because we in today's in today's world, everybody is trying to get the information the fastest so they can deliver it, so they can try to sell you on why they are the greatest. You have all of these videos utilizing clickbait titles. Hey, let me tell you the 5 banks with no doc loans. You have all of these individuals coming on who they're barely in position themselves, but they're trying to give information which has been secondhand information. They used to play this game back in the day called Whisper Down the Lane, where the first person tells the second person some information, and you want to whisper that information down all the way to the last person. And by the time it gets to the last person, the information is completely different than what you learned from person number one. That's what's starting to happen in this space, that you have people who've been in this space for a long time, like myself and a couple other individuals out there who really actively have been out here doing the work, have been educating people, have been teaching people the good side and the bad side about credit, all of that. And then you have a few people who trickled out of this pandemic hustle, selling people courses on basically everything that they hear a lot of us say, and then they get on the internet and try to regurgitate it. And because it sounds new to a lot of people, they get the oohs and the ahs, not even knowing the ramifications that most of the stuff that people are telling you guys, not only one is it unethical, but it can put you in a bad place financially. Very bad place. And so one of the things that I'm constantly hearing is people talking to people to go out there and use credit as if it's income. Okay? Truth. They get excited that they found something different. What's so interesting, Hollywood? There's nothing new in the world of credit. It's how people are delivering it that makes it sound new. You know, at one point there were people going on the internet saying late payments are illegal. No, if you're late, they can report it late. Now that doesn't mean you can't challenge the validity of how they reported it, but stop letting these people tell you all of this stuff, because essentially, let me say it like this. If there was a way to legally get out of just not paying debt, 95% of the people couldn't afford that information. Let me say that again. If there was a way to legally get out of paying your debt, 95% of the people couldn't afford the information to learn how to get out of the debt. Because don't you think that the elites would have that information? Don't you think there would be a segment of the population that would never share that information? But then you have people who come on the internet who are telling you late payments are illegal. Get your money back from your car getting like all of this goofy stuff. But they never show the proof that they've actually done it. Start asking yourself, when are you going to show us your credit report? When are you going to show us the check back from the car dealership or the bank who financed the car? They never show you the stuff that they're pushing on you, the credit propaganda. They don't show you the plays that they're making with their credit. They don't show you how to actually do credit liquidations, or they don't show you how to invest using their credit. They just come on here and share some information that sounds that sounds partially intelligent, and then it gets people excited. But here's the thing that I'm learning. I don't know what's going on with Instagram, y'all. See, here's the thing that I'm learning. What I'm learning is that a lot of the times, people who get excited for that type of information, they're looking to get over. They're looking to finesse the banks. They're looking to not pay people back. They're looking to find the shortest shortcut to get to whatever end goal they think they're going to get to. I got 2 repos. I'm trying to get into a new Cadillac. Can you fix my credit? Yes, we can help you. But I often tell people, if you're looking to get into a new car tomorrow, that's not practical. Because see, there's also a segment of population of people out there who are telling you they can fix your credit in 3 weeks. Let me tell you what that hustle looks like. Essentially, what that is that they're going out there and they're going to file the bogus police report, and the credit bureaus is going to suppress your information short term. Go and Google the credit repair fraud. and see the multitude of individuals who continuously go to jail for running these credit repair rings with having people get a bogus police report. Everyone's talking about CPNs. Those are scams. So Monty_Island. I'm not going to say CPNs are scams, but what they're teaching people how to use the CPNs is not ethical. I'm not going to use the word scam. I'm going to say unethical. And it could potentially get you jammed up. So you have to be very careful out here, and you want to be able to critique the information that people are sharing with you, because a lot of the information on the internet is wrong or is bad, especially pertaining to credit. But today we're going to talk about credit is not income. I get so many people who I'm seeing on the internet that are selling this whole business credit, this business funding as income, and it's not. I'm meeting so many people who say, man, I just need to get 100,000 in credit and I'm going to quit my job. Yeah, that's a silver play button from YouTube. Yeah, I've been on YouTube for a while, guys. For people who don't know me, especially on TikTok, I've been in this industry since 2008. I've been on the internet since 2016. I've been on TikTok since 2021. 21 or 22. So I'm kind of new to TikTok. What's up to everybody just hopping on Instagram? For my Instagram algorithm is going crazy because I've been posting some stuff that they don't want to get out. So, you know, we're just going to make it do what it do to the 7 people on my Instagram. So I'm seeing so many people. Make sure you guys share this information, please. You had the best YouTube credit repair breakdown thus far. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And to that point, and this actually goes into what I'm talking about here today, a lot of people don't know how to break down information. This is why you have so many people confused. See, I remember I went and I used to do mentorship for 4th and 5th graders. Okay. And I would actually go to that mentorship and I would take one day out of the month to break down credit, just so I can see if the 4th and 5th graders overstood it, and they did. A lot of these people on the internet who are doing all of this pointing and trying to give people this credit plays and credit gems, if your children can't understand it, nobody else can. People use vernacular to make themselves sound intelligent when trying to come up with these credit plays. They'll come up with some of the most off the wall type of strategy, and then somebody in the chat will say gang, or they'll put a goat emoji, or whatever the case may be. They'll say stuff like, yo, so all you got to do is walk into a bank, click your heel 3 times, wink, do a backflip, and then the money is just going to fall out the sky, and then the code from the safe is going to open up, and you can walk in there and get as much money as you want. All you need are these 3 things. And then they'll start pointing at the sky. That is not how information works. But this is what people say on the internet. Sonia Lewis. Look, we have to connect, Sonia. Okay? We have to connect, Sonia. All right? I know you out there making billions of dollars, but we got to connect. We got to do something soon. Okay? You and I were some of the first 2 people. I think I was one of the first credit people to really talk about the student loan. So we got to connect, Sonia. Make sure y'all go and follow my dear friend, the student loan doctor, who's been out there helping people for a long time. But yeah, the information on the internet is getting ridiculous. And it motivated me to come on here today to talk about credit is not income. Okay? Credit is not income. Hey, Will, I'm looking to get business credit and get funds for my business. LLC Duns 800. David Stewart, send me a direct message here on TikTok and somebody from my team will reach out to you today. Will has a lot of helpful videos on YouTube. Thank you, Super Dave. Yes, I have probably about 200 videos on YouTube, and a lot of them are information that people aren't talking about now. See, this is what most people are doing on the internet. Hey, let me tell you 5 banks where you can go and get some business funding. They tell you the 5 banks, but they're not telling you the criterias. They tell you the 5 banks, but they're not telling you which banks are going to be beneficial for your credit strategy. They tell you the 5 banks, but they don't tell you what what your credit score needs to be. They don't tell you to clean up your inquiries. So they tell you, hey, get this business funding, but they're not talking about debt servicing. They're not talking about how to hedge your money. No, like nobody is really teaching the information. I try to come on here and teach you so that you don't put yourself in a financial ruin. And that's why today we're coming on here talking about credit is not income. Now, let me tell you what actually sparked me coming on here. What up, Derek? To come on here and talk about this. Is it true we should have at least 3 LLCs? Great question, David Stewart. See, it's questions like that that lets me know there's a ton of misinformation out here on the internet. Now, David asked, is it true you should have 3 LLCs? The operative word is should. No, you shouldn't have multiple LLCs if you're not going to do anything with it. So let me give you a breakdown and let me dissect that question for you, David, because I'm pretty sure a lot of other people could appreciate this answer. So when you get multiple companies, first of all, you have to, depending on where you registered those companies, you have to renew them every single year. Okay. Now, I'll tell you the purpose of why people say get multiple companies. They say for seasoning purposes. But here's the deal. Okay. You should have 3 LLCs if you have 3 businesses, not just to have. Great point. And that's the point I was getting to. So now here's the thing. Having a company that is old or seasoned or has some history means nothing without income. Let me say that again. Having 3 companies or 3 entities, let me not say companies, having 3 entities just for the purpose of getting credit does nothing for you if you don't have a strategy. Having 3 entities that people say, hey, you should have 3 LLCs. First of all, again, just because the company has history doesn't mean it gets more capital, especially if there's no revenue tied to it. This is why even when I talk to people about buying seasoned companies, I've seen people waste $40,000 to go buy a 25-year-old company, but the company does not have financials. Just because the company is old means nothing. So unless you have actually 3 businesses, hey, peace, David, for you. Unless you have 3 businesses. So let's say you have a property management business, you have a landscape business, and you actually are a real estate investor. Those are 3 different businesses, which means you have 3 different tax ID numbers, which means you have 3 different tax codes to abide by. You have 3 different bank accounts. So you have 3 different entities, and you are going to show revenue on those 3 different companies, which means, yes, you can get capital from all 3 companies. Can you sign your own quitclaim deed? You want to go through title. You want to go through a title company. Don't just sign it. I always say you want to go through title because title is how it's going to get recorded. If it's not recorded through title, it means nothing. Okay? So when people hear me say, but they not listening to you, that's all right, Wavy Donald. This is for the 4 people that's listening. So when you hear me say I have 12 entities, that's because I have multiple companies. That's because I have different product servicing. I have different things attached to them. I own multiple real estate assets. I have my commercial side. I have my residential side. I own in different states. I own different businesses. I have businesses that I've invested in. Just got done reading your book. Appreciate that, Jordy. I remember when you purchased it. Thank you. Thank you. So we have to be very careful about the information that we are digesting off of the internet, because most of the people sharing the information with you, they haven't shared the information with you. Meaning they're not showing that they're a product of their own product. Have you ever helped a product developer launch a new product? No, I have not personally, Umbrella. Most people are not even a product of their own product. Now, that's a problem to me, because if you're not a product of your own product, when something doesn't go right, how can you help me to correct the issue or the mistake? And let me tell you what most people do. Okay? Let me tell you what most people do. They stop answering their phone. They get off social media. When people when people have problems with clients that they can't figure or solve, they get off social media. They switch their industry. Be careful of people who jump from industry to industry. Be very careful about that. Be careful of people who are jumping around trying to do different things. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't try different things, but don't practice on me. Don't practice on me. See, before I started talking about credit, I went through the process myself. Yes, my book is on Amazon as well as on Audible. It took me 2 years to fix my credit. This was back in 2008, 2010, all documented. I've posted my credit results. I've posted my old credit score when I had the repossessions and thought about filing bankruptcy. I showed you guys my deeds to the properties I've used to purchase the investment properties. I was one of the first individuals on the internet, definitely one of the first Black individuals on the internet teaching about credit. Now, I'm not saying that as a flex, but what I'm saying is that we have way too many people who are giving out information and advice with no type of credibility that they've done it themselves. Most people sharing online information are just regurgitating other people's posts. Like you said, show me your work and time you put in first. I couldn't have said it any better. I literally went on to a live over the weekend on TikTok and literally almost word for word said everything that I said in a live a week prior. Even the words I pronounced wrong, they pronounced them wrong. So that's how I know. That's how I know they copied off of me. Because I tell people all the time, I'm a horrible speller and I mispronounce words all the time. But that's the DNA of someone who's human. I tell people all the time, you can be flawed and still be successful. You can be flawed and still build wealth. You can be flawed and still build 7-figure companies. But the information I'm delivering is there. The strategies that I provide you guys, they provide results. And that's the focus that I focus on. Everybody who's paying attention in the chat, type the word results. That should be the focus. Results. See, my focus isn't to get you a bunch of capital, because the capital is just one facet of your end goal. The focus shouldn't be to help you to buy a new car, especially if you don't have enough income to buy and service the debt on the new car. Which is going to bring me to my topic. Credit is not income. Ain't nobody perfect. It's hard to maintain the perfect image that most people portray. Absolutely. Absolutely. I let people know I'm imperfect. I purposely don't do a lot of videos using studio equipment. And I post a lot of content, guys. I probably have enough content in the vault for at least the next 2 years without me ever having to do anything. I make a lot of content. I'm at work. Just wanted to thank you, King Will, for everything. Appreciate that, Coach. Thank you. Barney Brandy said 820 credit score. Congrats. Credit is not income. So now, in peace family, how you doing? So in understanding, overstanding, and understanding that credit is not income, let me tell you some things that people are not paying attention to in relation to credit, which is why they get jammed up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 things to be conscious about in pertaining to playing the credit game. If you would like to know what those 8 things are, type the number 1 in the chat for me, please. You make me believe that it is possible more and more. I'm joining your program soon. Dream Chaser _Max. We looking forward to it. We ready when you ready. What's your thoughts on consumer law? It says late payments are illegal. Great question, Chris Anderson. So I actually have a consumer law attorney on retainer. Tiffany Hill Esquire, one of the top federal litigators in the country, who is also a consumer law attorney. Now, it's not that late payments are illegal. It's the report. It's how they report the late payment that's illegal. See, again, people only give half the story. That's the whisper down the lane that people aren't getting. You have people who say, oh, you can go get credit and don't pay it back. You have people who say you can go and get a EIN only loan from the bank without and you just walk in the bank and get $100,000. See, here's the thing they don't tell you about the EIN only loans. Okay. First of all, they are what are called MCA loans, Merchant Cash Advance. There's no class today. Nope. Every other Tuesday, B. It's called a Merchant Cash Advance. Okay. Now that Merchant Cash Advance, what they do is, yes, they don't necessarily look at your credit, but they're going to look at your accounts receivables. They're going to look at your average monthly bank deposits. And most of those companies want to see you have deposits on average from $8,000 to $40,000 a month. Okay. And then let's say you borrow $30,000. Secondly, it's going to be short-term lending. And so let's say it's $30,000. You got a 15% APR at a 12-month term. Your average monthly payment is about $4,000 on $30,000. See, they don't tell y'all that part. The fluff masters don't tell you that part. What about Rental Karma? Chad Rowe, what do you mean about Rental Karma? Sorry, I just saw that part of the question. See, they don't tell you those EIN only loans are short-term lenders. They don't tell you that the interest rate can go from 6 to 40%. They don't tell you that you have to have a minimum of $8,000 to $40,000 in monthly gross revenue. They don't tell that part. They just use the screen to point for clickbait. Okay. I am the only one that realized that Divvy, Capital on Tap, and Funbox are all trash. Majestic W, you're actually not. I've been saying this forever. Capital on Tap, Funbox, Divvy, Cabbage, all of those are trash. They're all trash because for the average person, they can't service the debt. But because a lot of these credit gurus come on here and sell you on business credit as income, that's why it looks appealing. People will literally say, Will, I just need to get this $150,000 of business credit and then I'm good. Let me tell you, that's not the case. That is not the case. Because let me ask you guys this question. If you got $150,000 in business credit, what would you do with it? If you had $150,000 of business credit, would you know what to do with it? Where would you invest it? I never followed the herd. I knew something was strange with these accounts. What would you do with $150,000 in business credit right now? I think they must be able to prove payment missed in 30 days. I signed up for Rental Karma to report my rent payments to build my credit. Do you agree with that? Rental Karma, I'm not mad at that. It's better than nothing. But what I will say, there's something better out there called Boom Pay, because they report to all three. I don't think Rental Karma reports to all three. I'm not sure. All right, 15 USC 1666B consumer law, late payments are illegal. Okay, Chris, that I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Again, see, here's the beauty when you are a CEO. Okay, let me put y'all up on some game on what a CEO is. The CEO is the visionary. See, the reason why a lot of businesses never scale, because they have to know everything. I hired the best of the best. I let my consumer law attorney handle that. Go follow her page. She posts her federal cases all the time. But thanks for pointing that out, Chris. Hopefully you are utilizing your platform to educate people, and hopefully you're getting results. Again, I'm not discrediting any of that information, but it's still the verbiage, legalese verbiage. It's how the late payment is reported. That's the key word. I would go back to the mill and get more cribs. All right, so somebody said if they had 150,000, they would go back and buy more real estate. So here's the thing, because a lot of times people say, I'll buy real estate, I'll do this, I'll get in a Toro, I'll do this. See, the thing I'm often telling people, I would like to start my business. I'm trying to start now. Tasha Robinson, hit me up. Hit me up. I would out a portion aside, I'm assuming put a portion aside to service the debt and do either fix and flip or purchase a few off-market properties. Okay? So now, here's what I would say. See, no one says that the rental payments don't report to all three. That's what I'm talking about. Live, life, invest. People only tell half the story. People only tell half the story. In regards to foreign entity LLCs, do you need to have a virtual address in each state? It would benefit you unless you have a registered agent. Okay, it would benefit you. Okay. So now a lot of people talk about, hey, I would invest in real estate. I would do this. And for a great deal of people, yes, that is the best way to park your money. But if you've never ran a business before, how would you know how to grow it? If you're not familiar with investing in profitable real estate transactions, how would you ensure that you're investing in a great deal? See, this is the thing that I'm trying to teach people, is that you have to learn how to invest in real estate. You have to learn how to run a business. What would you do with 150K or recommend we should do? I'll tell you exactly. Okay. As a full-time realtor, make sure you guys do your research. It's a great investment with research or assistance from someone like Will. Cam_Douglas, appreciate that. See, here's the first thing I would do. I would take a portion of that capital and invest it in myself first. Here's what I mean. I'm going to make sure that my credit is good. I'm going to make sure my entities are structured properly. I'm going to invest in an attorney to make sure all of my stuff is good. And then I'm going to make sure I have money to invest with a tax strategist. Because see, I can almost promise you, I can guarantee what Charles Barkley say, I guarantee that a lot of the people on the internet who are these real estate gurus don't file their taxes. I'm willing to put up any amount of money that a lot of these people who are teaching you guys this stuff don't even talk about taxes. See, in my real estate group coaching program, in my REI 90 program, I talk about what is called your real estate A team. Okay. And in your real estate A team, If they're not talking to you about a tax strategist, they don't know what they're talking about. You know what I'm talking about? If they're not talking to you about having an attorney who can review your contracts, they're leading you down a path of destruction. How can they get away paying taxes? It's not about getting away from paying taxes. It's about learning how to defer and mitigate your tax liability. Because if you pay zero taxes, you playing a poor man's game. There are other strategies, and I think what happens is a lot of people are utilizing the wrong verbiage. It's not about not paying taxes, it's mitigating tax liability and deferring tax liability. But if you don't have a good tax strategist and you going to H&R Block, or you listening to your cousin who don't own a property, who doesn't have a business, and told you they got a $10,000 tax refund, you setting yourself up for disaster. And then you have a segment of people who file taxes. They're not tax strategists. They just file taxes, which is why a great segment, especially of the black population, stays poor. Y'all don't want to have that conversation. Don't think they depreciate their properties then. No, most people don't depreciate their properties because they're not purchasing their properties as a business. Most people aren't depreciating their properties because they didn't purchase it the right way. Yes, I do have a company that helps people with credit. You can DM me for more information. Is it a bad idea if I use my personal credit cards to invest in turnkey properties? No, it's not a bad idea, but you want to make sure that you do it the right way. And I'm going to talk about that here today when I talk about credit is not income. See, most people over leverage themselves and then they get stuck. Okay. Also, they market Amex like it's a great deal. The Amex charge card is not for everybody. People think it's a flex. It's not a flex for people who go out there and swipe 30,000 and then have to pay it back in 30 days. The charge card it's essentially a net 30 card. There's a particular Chase card. One of the Chase Ink cards is a net 30 card. Capital on Tap, Divvy. These are all net 30 cards. So don't let people get gassed up and make you think like you're winning in the game of credit or in the game of wealth building, because credit is not income. Somebody type that in the chat for me. Thank you, Chris Andrews. Somebody type in the chat. Credit is not income. And this is what gets people in trouble and gets them jammed up all the time. I am curious if I can talk with you about my lawn care landscaping business and how, yes, Chads, if you can follow me on Instagram or send me a message, but you can book a free strategy call with my team. And if you want, get on my calendar. Okay. You can, at Mr. Will Roundtree, at Mr. WILL Roundtree, ROUNDTREE. Send me a message and let me know you came in from YouTube. See, credit is not income. And so people are getting people gassed up on these different credit strategies. Now, somebody said, unless used properly. So now, I will agree with that. But here's the deal. The average person who is new to leveraging credit, there's no way they're going to be mentally ready to leverage a net 30 credit card. And here's why. Okay, here's why. Somebody asked me why. A person who is brand new to leveraging credit, the average person, I'm not saying this is for everybody, but the average person who is new to leveraging credit is not mentally prepared to use a net 30 card, such as the American Express Platinum, the Gold, the Green, anything that's a net 30. And I'll tell you why. Because most people do not have adequate income to service the debt. Let me say that again. Most people do not have adequate income to service the debt. I know you know, billions. Billions. I know you know. So let me show y'all something. So here's the Platinum Amex right here. This is the Platinum Amex. Okay. The first thing is most people who are business owners who utilize the Platinum Amex, it's the benefits that Amex gives you. It's the benefits. It's not the capital. It's not the money on here, because essentially with the Amex charge card, this is really a savings. This is really a bank account card. if we want to be completely honest, this is a bank account. This is the equivalent of a debit card. And let me tell you why. It's the equivalent of a debit card because unless you have a history with Amex and they give you what's called where they give you a feature that's called pay over time. But for the average new person who gets approved for Amex Platinum and then they post it on the internet, they're cheering up and down, they getting people congratulating them. But I'm in the background praying for you. I'm putting up the praying hand emojis because 9 times out of 10, you may not have known what you have gotten yourself into. This is almost the equivalent of using a debit card. And let me tell you why. Because let's say you're brand new. You started following some person on the internet. They told you how great it is to have the Amex Platinum card because of the travel benefits, which I agree. I use them all the time. But you go out there and you invest $30,000 because when most people get a credit card or get some credit and they're trying to start a business, they got to get the business starter kit. Okay, that they got to go get the business out. They got to go get the designer outfit. They're going to go buy a chain with their company logo on it with the charge card. They got to go get a new car. So they're using the charge card as a down payment. So you're paying 19% interest on a down payment on a depreciating asset. So you got your entrepreneurship starter outfit kit. And so now you done went out there and racked up $30,000 before you went out there and got one customer. You don't have a viable business product. Nobody knows who you are. Your social media still got your old life on there, so people not going to take you serious. And then you get the bill in the mail 30 days later, and you got to pay that whole $30,000 back that month. This is where people get jammed up at. Tom is trouble. Yes, what's your question? Just put your question in the chat. See, a lot of people aren't overstanding. Same thing with Capital on Tap. Pay balance within 30 days. And the fee is $7.95 a year for this card. Absolutely. If you don't tap into the benefits, if you don't travel a lot, this card is worthless for you. It's just a flex to people who don't know any better. I'm telling y'all, people who are affluent, not influencers, but people who are affluent, they're laughing at us. Well, not us, but they're laughing at the people who post this as a flex. They're laughing at telling people to go get a Capital on Tap card. They're laughing at people who tell them to get a Divvy card, especially for someone who's new to business. See, if you work in an industry where you get your cash deposits are heavy on a daily basis, a retail store, a barber, someone who deals in cash at a high level, you work at a car dealership, those are the type of cards that are good for those type of businesses. Because what happens is that some of those cards is what's going to happen is that the cash is coming in and they pull the money right from the bank account every single month. You have to attach your bank account to those credit cards. These EIN only credit cards. You have to attach your bank account. And half the people getting those cards, bank account has an insufficient funds fee attached to it. Their account is negative. So you're starting off in a bad position because of the lack of information and people giving you half the story. That's because they played the whisper down the lane game and they got a fourth of the information. They got a quarter of the information and then they decide to do a challenge. They got half the information. Now they're a credit coach. They got credit repair in their bio. But we're going to talk about it today. Credit is not income. Credit is not income. Amex keeps trying to get me to get for years. They keep upping the point offer. 130,000 points. Yeah, playing telephone. Supermodel jazz. Yeah. You got people, these new set of gurus been playing telephone and they got a third of the real information. They can't even tell you what is what. So we're going to talk about today, credit is not income. TikTok, I need y'all to get me up to 5,000 likes at least. We need this algorithm to get to rhythming so people can get this information. TikTok, can y'all get me to 5,000 likes? Yeah, they fooling people. Instagram, I need y'all to share this with at least 3 people. We're going to talk about credit is not income. Credit is not income. And then I'm going to talk about 8 mistakes that people make when it comes to credit card or playing the credit card game. See, yesterday I posted. I talked about yesterday. If your guru not educating themselves, see, this is the dictionary of banking terms and a law dictionary. The dictionary of real estate terms. In my new real estate book, I'm going to actually have a glossary in there because I want people to learn these concepts. Dictionary of business and economics. See, I come on here and I try to teach you guys the economics of credit. I try to teach you guys the economics of real estate. I try to teach you guys the economics of credit, of business funding. Everybody else is just coming on here and utilizing this as a hustle. The next time you call your credit guru, ask them, do they have a customer service department if something goes wrong? Ask them, what CRM system are they using? Ask them, do they have a flow chart of their org chart? Ask them, do they have an operations team? Ask them, do they have a processing team? Ask them, do they have a VP, a CFO? The next time you talk to your guru who's telling you about making millions of dollars, ask them, do they have a CFO? Ask them to recommend who their tax strategist is. Ask them, do they have an attorney on retainer? You know damn well these Negroes don't got no customers. Yo, that has to be one of the funniest comments I heard. I really like your thoughts and passion. Thank you, Chad. Thank you. Yes, it's about economics. See, they don't even have the people in place when we talk about overstanding business and economics, who you need to even have in place to protect that your business grows. Y'all said I'm asking too many questions. But this should be the barometer. Let me ask you guys a question. And then we're going to talk about credit is not income. Let me ask you guys a question. If the bank you went to deposit your money, appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate it. Salute you back too. If the bank you went to didn't FDIC insure your money, would you use that bank? Bossman Roundtree, what's up? Glad I woke up and caught this live. Thank you. If the bank you use to deposit your money didn't insure your money, Didn't FDIC insure your money? Would you use that bank to deposit your money? What up, Will? Learn those terms, everyone. Benjamin Clark, who worked in finance at a very high level, will let you know. Will tell you. We got to learn this terminology. No, you asking the gurus for too much. Credit is a means, not an end. Absolutely, Salvador. We're going to talk about that today. See, you wouldn't use a bank who wouldn't assure your money. So how can someone tell you that you can make millions of dollars in business and they're not structured like a business? How can someone tell you, hey, let me help you get all of this funding, and they don't even use the funding properly? How could you let somebody, how could you can't compare my company to someone who doesn't have a customer service department, who doesn't have an HR department, who doesn't have a legal team on retainer, who doesn't have a tax professionalist, who doesn't have a CFO, who doesn't have a CMO, who doesn't have an operations manager, who doesn't have operations manuals, standard SOPs, standard operation practice. Like most of them out there don't have those things in place. They're using their credit for the wrong thing. Half of them aren't even using the right terminology. When I hear people say no doc, that lets me know they don't know enough about enough. Benjamin Clark, tell them. When I hear people say no doc loans, that lets me know they're using the wrong terminology. It's actually called low doc. Everybody type in the chat low doc loans. It's called low doc, not no doc. Low doc. Not no doc. See, we need to brush up on our economics vernacular. It's low doc, not no doc. Anyways, let me get to credit is not income, y'all. That's what the whole purpose of this live is about. Credit is not income. So let me tell you some common mistakes people who are new to trying to play this credit game make. Okay? Yeah. No doc is for real estate. Low doc is for banking. Benjamin Clark said it. No doc is not right terminology, y'all. So when I'm seeing people pointing, saying these no doc loans, that lets me know they not running a real business. Because there is no such thing as a no doc when it comes to unsecured lending. Let's have a crash course on lending vernacular real quick. Somebody type in the chat unsecured. Somebody type in the chat unsecured lending. See, the reason why I have so many good relationships with underwriters, because they say, Will, you're doing it the right way. You're actually teaching people. You're showing people how to communicate with underwriters. You're talking to them about debt servicing. You're talking to them about all of the necessary things that people are not being taught. See, when it comes to unsecured lending, there is no such thing as no doc when the debt is unsecured. Because all of the pointing, now banks are asking for financials. Real talk. See, when it comes to unsecured debt or unsecured lending, the banks, there's no such thing as no doc when it's unsecured. And here's why. Why would a bank give you $100,000 with no paperwork and it's no asset attached? Let me say that again. Why would a bank give you up to $100,000 with no documentation if there's no asset attached? Now, yes, you can go in and get approved for credit cards, but that's still not considered no doc. Even though you can use stated and household income. Stop using that vernacular. No doc is only is only applicable when there's collateral involved. So when it comes to real estate, they have what are called no doc real estate loans, which is a debt service coverage ratio loan, a debt service coverage ratio loan, a DCSR loan, debt service coverage ratio loan, which the property is the asset. So a bank will lend you money against the asset, but then they also leverage the rents. If the property is not rented out, they will not do the deal. That's how they secure their investment. But see, nobody's teaching y'all this stuff. They just want to point and do the least amount of work because they know that people are going to fall for it, because people are coming to them in a place of desperation because they're trying to get some credit as income. So we're going to talk about that today. So common mistakes people make. And thank you, TikTok, for getting me to the 5,000 likes. Based on income of property, right? Yes, the debt service coverage ratio is based upon the income as well as the debt servicing of the property. So if you have a property and the mortgage is 1,000 and you're getting 900, they're not going to do the loan. It has to be a 1-to-1 or a 1 to 1.25% of the mortgage. Okay, so if your rent is 1,000, you got to at least be getting 1,000 in revenue from that deal. Okay, not gonna lie, I see a lot of credit talk, but this is true credit. It's not income. Absolutely, Richard. It's not income. Dang, the DSCR loan won't get approved if it's vacant. Not at all. Not at all. And on the hard money side, the hope you can default on the 13-month loan so they can do a deed to loop. Shabazz, they ain't talking about that part. Good point, Shabazz. This is what I tell y'all. Everybody come to me and say, Will, I'm trying to get a hard money loan. The first thing I say is why? And here's why I ask that question. Because I'm trying to first identify if you even know the purpose of what a hard money loan is. See, let me give you guys some insider information. Don't tell everybody I told y'all this. Most hard money lenders want you to default. Most hard money lenders want you to default. Let me tell you why. Okay? Because, see, do you have any good book suggestions on real estate and credit and mindset? Yes, my 2 books, Credit is King and Full-Time CEO, the shit they don't tell you, and book on real estate. You can get this book right here, Dictionary Terms on Real Estate. And I'm also about to drop a free ebook that gives you the breakdown of the basics of overstanding real estate investing for buying and holding. Okay, so what do you think about subject 2? I love subject 2. I do them all the time. So now let me tell y'all a secret about hard money lenders. They want you to default because they already overstand. First of all, they're only going to do a deal that makes sense in sense. So if the deal doesn't make sense, they're not going to finance the deal. Secondly, they know that you're going to put the bulk of the money into the deal. And they know that a lot of people usually run out of money. So let's say you bought a property, okay? Write this down. Let's say you bought a property at $200,000, okay? They financed it for you, but you've put in $40,000 down. You put $20,000 into rehab so far. So now you're all in at $60,000 and you run out of money. The 13th month is due and the note is due. And now the payment has ballooned and now you have to come up with You have to come up with $120,000. But you can't. So what do? They take the property from you. And now all they got to do is put in a fraction of what it would have cost them if they would have done the deal. You lose the property. And now essentially they got a property where you've done most of the work. all because of your lack of experience, because you were so gassed up that you want to get a hard money lender, but you didn't know enough about real estate, about how to do real estate deals, how to structure them, how to hire contractors, nor the purpose of what a hard money lender is. I remember I loaned somebody $22,000 to do a real estate deal. Okay? I'm a hard money lender. Basically, all a hard money lender is a transactional lender. Everybody type in the chat, transactional lender. Okay? That's crazy. No one talks about this, and it is extremely important for new investors. A hard money lender is a transactional lender. It's a very expensive lesson. Nobody teaching y'all this part. See, I loaned somebody about $22,000. Yeah, this live will be saved. And I said, I only loan money against collateral. Okay? I only loan money against collateral. So this person was doing a real estate project. The property was worth about, I want to say probably about $190,000. It may not even been worth that much. And I said, look, if you want to borrow this $22,000, not only do we have to deed, I have to be on the deed of the property, okay? And I get first position of this property if you don't pay me back. So I used my attorney because I run a real estate business. We recorded it through title. And here's the truth and reality. Because I'm thinking like an investor, I'm thinking like a business person. Now, I'm not saying this is what I hope happens, but as an investor, the investor in me hopes you default on that $22,000 because now I have a property worth 100. Let's just say it was 150. I could sell it as is and get my $22,000 back and get the rest of my and then make a profit. I could sell the property for $100,000. I can sell it well below the value of what the property is worth just to get my $22,000 back, and I still made $78,000. That's really all a hard money lender is. That's all transactional lenders do. I did a deal where I loaned somebody $7,000. They didn't have any properties, but I made them put their car up for collateral. They had I think it was a Range Rover. I wouldn't have kept it. Yeah, I ain't gonna go into why I wouldn't have kept it. If you know, you know. But if they didn't pay me the $7,000 back, the vehicle was worth at least $26,000. It wasn't brand new. I would have taken the truck and went and sold the car for about $15,000, got my money back, and I would have been up another $8,000. How do you start as a hard money lender? It's not about me starting as a hard money lender. I just know how to structure deals. I know how to structure deals. And I have an attorney to write up the contract. So I'm not calling myself a hard money lender. I'm a transactional lender. I do gap funding lending. So I lend people money to cover gaps. That's some red tape to get around having to set yourself up as a hard money lender. Hopefully y'all caught that one. So credit is not income. This is why people get jammed up in those hard money loans. This is why people get jammed up trying to get business funding, because they don't know enough about enough. Credit is not income. Let me tell you number one reason why people who's new to playing this credit game get jammed up. Okay? Range Rovers are money pits. Absolutely. Stop carrying high credit card balances. See, when you're new into this credit game and you're trying to play the credit leveraging game, I see way too many people carrying high credit card balances. And what this tells me is that you don't have an adequate strategy to service the debt. Okay? You don't have an adequate strategy to service the debt. Now watch somebody mispronounce that on a live, and then I'll know that they got it from me. You don't have an adequate way to service the debt. And so what happens is then you're online and you hear some credit guru tell you, keep a balance on your credit card and just make the minimum payment so that way you can increase your score faster. And if you make 2 payments in a month, your score goes up quicker. That's all cap. That's all cap. Paying your credit card payment twice in a month does not help your credit score. The only way it helps your score is by making multiple payments, and it increases your utilization. But the payment history itself does not increase your credit score. It does not. Carrying a balance too long actually is a red flag to the banks. And that is why banks either cut your card off or they lower your credit limit because you're carrying a balance too long. So an issue that a lot of people who are learning to play this credit game get into is they carry high balances too long. I heard somebody mention, can you use your personal credit? The second payment on the month shit is the biggest myth. Yo, Premier Amir, yo, one-liners are like remarkable. That 2 payment month, that's the biggest urban myth in social media. It does not help you, for real. And so, withholding and carrying a balance long term, that actually is a red flag to the banks. Prime example for everybody who is who's chasing after this Amex. Let me tell you something. If you keep high balances on your credit cards, let's say it's not even your Amex. Amex actually does a soft pull on your credit frequently. You can't see it on the main credit report, but if you go to annualcreditreport.com and pull an Experian report from annualcreditreport.com, you can actually see all of your soft credit pulls, and you will see all of the credit card companies who go and do a soft credit pull because they see if you're carrying balances for too long, they will actually cut your limit off or shut your cards down. That's a red flag. So when I see people who carry balances too long because they're trying to play this credit game, that's a red flag, and that lets me know they don't have an adequate strategy to service the debt. What's considered carrying a high balance long term? I don't know. I'm not the bank because every bank is different. I don't want to come on and misinform you. Go to annualcreditreport.com. Go and pull an Experian report from annualcreditreport.com, especially if you haven't done your free one for the year. You get a free one every year. They may have increased it. I don't pay attention to that part of the game. I come on here to educate you what's actually going to move the needle. Go and pull your free report from Experian, from annualcreditreport.com, from Experian. Pull it from all of them. But you will actually see the soft credit pulls. And you will see where credit card companies, your insurance company, every time you pulled your credit from a credit monitoring, you will see every single soft credit pull on the credit reports. So stop carrying balances. And like Premier Amir said, that social media urban myth, making 2 payments does not give you a 100 point credit boost. That's all cap. Number 2, neglecting the annual fees. See, some of these cards, that especially the starter cards, when you're rebuilding your credit, they have annual fees that they actually spread out over the course of the year. 2 cards in particular, First Premier and Credit One. First Premier credit card and Credit One. Actually, did you guys know that Credit One is one of the top 3 credit card companies in the country? Let me say that again. Credit One Bank is one of the top 3 credit card companies as far as client acquisitions. They have one of the largest books of business as far as people who have a Credit One credit card. And they don't give you large limits. But let me tell you where I see people get so many late payments that it is crazy. So with Credit One Bank and First Premier Bank, instead of you paying the annual fee once a year, what they do is they say, hey, here's a way for you to help build your credit by establishing payment history, which it does actually help. But what they do is they charge you that monthly, they charge you the annual fee monthly. So let's say Credit One Bank, the monthly fee, which is the actual annual fee spread out over 12 months, may be like $8.95 a month. So let's say you're brand new to credit. You get a Credit One Bank credit card. You don't really use it, and out of sight, out of mind. So what ends up happening is you get multiple late payments for a $8.95 annual service fee tied to a starter card. But then you had some credit guru who's telling you to go start your credit journey with a Credit One credit card, but they didn't inform you about the annual fee. So now your score just dropped 100 points because you forgot to pay an annual fee that's broken up over the course of 12 months for $8.95. So stop neglecting the annual fees. Or I'll see somebody who go out and get the Amex Platinum card, and they get the first year is waived because nobody tells you about the $795 annual fee. And so then year 2 comes along. You done went out there and used all your credit trying to look like you rich. And then you get a hit with a $795 fee. Or let's say your card is maxed out because they still give you a spending limit. It's not unlimited. It's a spending limit based upon your income. And then you get hit with the $795 fee. And now you're mad. And now you're like, man, they ain't paying that. It's on principle. So now your score just got jacked up. You done ruined the relationship with American Express all off of principle and because of what you didn't know. I thought they was a knockoff Capital One. Been getting correspondence from them for a long time. No, Credit One Bank is not a knockoff of Capital One. You would think that. But no, Credit One is one of the largest holders of clients for credit cards. All right. What's a high balance and what would you say is too long to carry a balance? Super Dave, I can't say because every bank is different. Every bank has a different threshold. Every bank has a different threshold. Dr. O, what's going on, Queen? Yes, Credit One is very real. But be careful if you aren't aware of the $8.95 monthly fee that is the annual fee broken up over 12 months. I've seen so many people get jammed up and get late payments behind that. I put $90,000 annual and $795 on rent. Still got denied with the $750 credit. So now Dispute Tech Solutions said they put $90,000 for their annual income, $795 is their rent and still got denied. Well, that could be for many different reasons. Your debt to income ratio could be high. You could be in check systems. You could have some debt tied to banks through LexisNexis. It's a multitude of reasons why you get denied with a 795 credit score. Because keep in mind, here's something that your credit guru not telling you. Let's say you clean up your credit, okay? That debt is still out there, guys. That debt is still out there. So when they go and pull a LexisNexis report, which, for example, a bank like Truist or Univest, they pull LexisNexis. So if they pull LexisNexis, and yeah, you may, on the credit report that the naked eye see, you have an 800, but if you still owe banks because you cleaned up your credit, they will deny you. Your credit expert not telling you that. Or yes, you could also have too many credit inquiries is why you're being denied. If you have not spoken or reached out to my team, we are actually one of the few companies that can dispute credit inquiries on open and closed accounts. Just go and look at my post. Again, I show you guys our results. I don't just go out there and teach a concept and give you strategy on something that I've never done before. So if you need your inquiries cleaned up, DM me the word credit. And not just the ones calling in claiming fraud. Because that game is about played out. Okay? Let me see what Dr. O said. When she says something, I know it's some value. Over 30 days is too long to hold a balance. That's all I got to say. Dr. O, she said it. So neglecting the annual fees. All right. Again, if you're just joining me on this live, we're talking about credit is not a starter kit car. You got to get the entrepreneur starter kit office. You got to get the starter kit chain. Credit is not income. I only tell people to leverage credit to create cash flow. I only tell people to create credit to create income, not to look like they're getting income. How do you start building credit and can't get approved for anything? You got to clean up your negative items. You got to clean up your negative items. All right, number 3, knowing the fine print in the credit card applications. Let's have a moment of transparency. Will is the real. Listen, share. Thank you, Dr. O. That means a lot coming from you. Thank you. I know you shared the stage and rooms with, multi-billionaires and sheiks and princes of the world. So thank you for that those accolades. So how many people have actually read the fine print of a credit card application or had their attorney review it? Most people don't. Let me tell you what most people do when they get a credit card application. They hurry up and sign it. Because you get you so happy that you've learned some new information. You've already spent the credit. Before you even get approved, you've already spent the credit. So most people are not reading the fine print in the credit card application. And here's a legalese term that you may or may not have heard. They say that on a contract, that huge package pamphlet is eye-opening. Yeah, for real. See, on a contract, they say the big print giveth, and a small print taketh away. See, the big print is the only thing people look at, and people halfway look at that. But the small print, that's where they get you. And I'm not going to say that's where they get you, but that's the terms that they put in to protect them. And most people don't read the small print. First of all, you don't speak legalese nor read legalese. Did you guys know legalese is a completely different language? This is all I'm going to say. This is all I'm going to say. Even though I have an attorney on retainer, I still brush up on my legalese. Dr. O. Like Reggie said, it's the language that courts use against you. Y'all want to know why so many people lose in court? Because they don't know the language of court. And so the fine print in those credit card applications y'all are signing, that's how they get you. And one of the small print is that they can cut your card off anytime they want to. They can lower your credit limit. They don't have to give you an exclamation. And more importantly, if you don't know what the grace period is of that credit card, everybody type in the chat grace period. Y'all going to school today. Today we are going to the Will Roundtree Credit Academy. Somebody help me trademark that real quick. My attorney, she'll get this later. We'll do that. Somebody type in the chat grace period. See, they just did me like that for holding my balances. Absolutely, Dr. O. See, what up, Jazz? So, not all grace periods are created equal. See, what you may or may not know is that every single creditor allows you a grace period which where they actually report the debt as late. So let's say your payment is due on the 15th. Okay? All banks creditors have a grace period that allows you grace to still get that payment in before they report it as a late payment. Now, most people assume every company is 25 to 30 days. But that is not true. That is not true. Some lenders' grace period is 5 days. Some are 10 days. Some are 30. And some banks are even 60. I didn't know this. I'd be nervous. I pay you off all balances here. What up, Cayman? So find out what your grace period is, because if there's an instant where you have a tough month, you need to be able to know what your options are. Because not all creditors have a 30-day grace period. Prime example. Did you know that a lot of those car dealerships that do what is called like the buy here, pay here? Okay. What if you opt out of LexisNexis, Innovis, and SageStream? They can still report that information. See, here's the thing I keep trying to tell y'all. Stop listening to all these gurus who say if you opt out of this, then they can't see your information. That's only half the truth. You think a company that spends billions of dollars to report information can't report you because you opt out? Y'all better stop listening to these credit gurus. So the fine print, the grace period, that's in the fine print. So here's what happened. Did you know these buy here, pay here car dealers? Did you know that they can repo your vehicle for being late 1 day if it's in the fine print of their application? Please save this live. I got you, family. Will is the only credit person on the internet I can hear and listen to. He doesn't need us. We need him. Dr. O, appreciate you. Thank you. These buy here, pay here car dealers, they can repo your car after one missed late payment. And you can be up in arms. You're on the internet. You trying to find these credit gurus telling you, repoing your car is illegal, and then take it up to the Supreme Court. If you didn't read the contract and read the fine print, it don't matter what that person who trying to get their algorithm score up on the social media tell you. Like, never mind. I was about to say a really bad joke. You know what? Why is it that all of these people who tell you that having a car and when the bank charge you a car payment is illegal, but they don't have a car? Look, I swear I want to come up with a reality TV show where we just scour the internet and call and pull up people who say some bogus credit information or financial information. Like, it blows my mind when I hear people on the internet that are like, hey, let me tell you why, the person who sold you your car is going to jail because they did this. And then you see them outside with their phone doing a live catching a bus. I'm like, you couldn't have manifested a Buick or something? Like, come on. Y'all don't mind me. Don't mind me. But know the grace period of your credit. Know the grace period. Because yes, that dealership can repo you for 1 day, and it's not illegal. I don't care how many likes and views that person got. Yeah, the consumer law has really... You got people who are trying to teach consumer law who they can't spell consumer. The U is silent. Y'all will catch that a little bit later. It's just sickening because there's so many people getting jammed up because of this stuff. Let me go to the next one. But knowing the fine print. Cash advances. A lot of people don't know that cash advances are expensive. You typically pay a premium. So when you're trying to do these credit strategies, stop listening to people who tell you to go get a cash advance, because essentially, first of all, you can only take a percentage of the total credit limit, and then you got to pay a premium for the cash advance plus the actual transaction plus the actual merchant fee or the APR, excuse me. So let's say the cash advance fee is 25%, and I'm just throwing a number out there, and then the APR is 19%. So you're paying double for the money. So you have less purchasing power. This is why when I talk about the 4-step Roundtree methodology, step number 3 is knowing the cost of money. This is why I talk so much about economics. This is why I talk about economics in the world of banking. Okay? Cash advances are the beautiful lady that leads you to the woods with candy, and it's really 345 years old without teeth. Yo, that cash advance, it look cute until you get that double statement. And so when I hear people talk about cash advances, that lets me know they don't know enough about enough. They're brand new to playing this. They're probably trying to use credit as income. So they're doing cash advances so that they can use their credit to go do whatever it is that they do. I don't know. I don't play that game. All right, next one. Maxed out credit cards. See, do you guys know why I tell people it's okay to have personal and business credit? Do you guys know why I tell people it's okay to have revolving credit and installment credit? Because you do what is called hedging your money. Somebody type in the chat, hedge your money. I teach you how to hedge your money. So for example, when you have a newer credit profile or you're new to building credit, you don't really have any income, your business is brand new, etc., etc. Let's say you go out there and you get $50,000 in credit. And so now you think you made it. And so you go out there, you try to do a real estate deal and you pull $40,000 off of your credit cards. You just maxed out your cards. Your score dropped. Now you can't refinance. And now you're stuck in a deal. What's the difference? I'm taking notes. William, what's the difference with what? If you can help me clarify that. See, now you're stuck in that money. And now you're mad. You can't borrow more money. You can't refinance your property. Your credit is jacked up. So what you want to do is, and this is a live scenario I did with one of my coaching clients, Christopher Gibson. We went out and got him some term loans. And term loans essentially is the same thing as an installment loan, which just means that there's a term. That means that is how long you have to pay the money back. So we got on some term loans. We got on some revolving credit. And so now the term loans, we know we can use that total amount. So we actually got them about $120,000 in term loans. And then we set aside 9 months worth of payments. So 9 months out of the 120 is going to service the debt. Okay. So what would be a very first thing to do to build credit that has loops? It's straightforward. It's hard to answer that question, Queen, because I don't know where your starting point is. So I highly recommend you go and book a free call with my team so that they can give you that information. We got to know where your starting point is at. Okay. So and that's the other thing. When people get on here and give you all these credit strategies, they're not applicable to everybody's credit situation because everybody's starting point is different and everybody has a different end goal. That's why I ask every single client that I talk to, what is your end goal? And what's your expectation? Because if you come with 3 repos and a bankruptcy and you talking about you trying to move and buy a new house in 90 days, well, this isn't the place for you because we do it the right way. It may take 2 years to fix your credit. I don't know. Okay. You can't get term loans with bad credit. That's an oxymoron. Okay. So back to my scenario. We got 120,000. Well, you can get term loans with bad credit. They're called MCA loans, which bankrupts 88% of small businesses. So we're not even going to talk about that because I'm not pointing in the air to show y'all where to go for that. So we got 120,000. We took 9, we calculated how much it's going to cost you to service that debt. So we took out 9 months worth of payments. You can do 12 months, but we had a strategy in place because we had a deal on the table already. We had an 8-unit property that we were going to take down. So we took 9 months worth of payments to service that debt. And then we went and got another 150 in revolving credit cards. Okay, so he could exhaust the term loan because the term loan doesn't count against utilization. And then we already calculated how much we can pull from the revolving credit. So this way we can also refinance out of that money. So so the property was about 390,000. We took 25% of the total credit. We calculated it. We calculated how much the debt servicing was going to cost. He got the property. We had to put a little bit of money into the rehab. The property is now worth about 6 and some change. They're all rented out. And after debt servicing everything, he's net cash. He's net positive about $2,000 in cash flow. Net positive about $2,000 in cash flow. And so once he gets and completes his seasoning process, because the seasoning process was 6 months, that's why we took out 9 months worth of reserves, but we did 9 months to cover anything that could potentially happen. It could have taken an extra month to finish up the rehab. Like anything could have happened. So we set aside 9 months. And so now when we refi, we're going to get that money out. We're going to pay off the credit. We're going to pay off the term loan. And now not only did his payment go down, his cash flow is going to increase. And now he can go and borrow more money again to go and do another deal. That's how you utilize this strategy. He didn't go out there and buy a car. He didn't use his credit to go traveling. He didn't use his credit to go to the fight. He didn't use his credit to go to the NBA playoffs. He used his credit to create income. He used his credit to create cash flow. And now we're going to be able to pay the debt off and repeat the process all over again. Next, closing old credit card accounts. Okay. That last 5 minutes was worth it. Golden. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. So, when you close old credit card accounts, what up, Will? This is James. I spoke with you on Wednesday. Just want to let you know I'm on you. Appreciate that, Terry. Thank you. Or James. I see Terry0264 on there. I DM you, Will. Somebody will call to book a call. Yes, we got you, Jordy. So, when you're closing old credit card accounts, you have to be very conscious in knowing what you're doing. For example, so let's say your credit rebuilding process is 2 years old. Okay. Obviously, a great component of what impacts your credit score is the age of your file. Okay. If you have a age of file that's not dense enough, you can't have an 800. So when I hear people say, I got a 750 and I'm trying to get to an 800, your age of file plays a role in that. Okay. And so let's say You finally pay off some credit cards and you get on the internet and you hear some guru say, close those accounts. You closed it. Let's say you closed your oldest credit card account. So what just happened is you lost all of that payment history and your score just dropped. See, this is why you got to get what, and you got to have strategy when you're building or rebuilding your credit, so you don't put yourself in a position where you're going to be removing history. Because if you remove positive history, which I see people who go to these credit repair gurus who remove more positive than negative, and now your credit is jacked up. So you got to be very careful. So stop closing old accounts if you don't know what you're doing. Should I have all old addresses report? No, have your old addresses removed. And here's why. One, old debt is tied to old addresses. Old debt is tied to old addresses. I had a guy remove entire report, good and all. I see it all the time, Dr. O. I see it all the time. My age is 1 year, 3 months, 744, 728, and experience, in TransUnion 757. Yeah, I'm telling you, your age plays a role in getting to that 800. The age plays a role in getting to that 800. Okay? So, last one. Be mindful of the type of credit cards that you're applying for. Be mindful. Everybody type in the chat, net 30 credit cards. Net 30 credit cards. Can you get late payments removed, Will? That's a good question. So here's the thing. Sometimes removing the late payment is a bad idea. Sometimes you want to get the late payment updated to report positive. Because if your overall credit file is thin, let's say you have an account that's 7 years old and it's your oldest account and the account is still open and you get the late and you have one late payment on there. Some people may say, dispute the whole account. Well, disputing the whole account, you lost history. You may just need them to get to update the payment history to positive. So every scenario is different. That's why I said stop listening to these credit gurus who don't know where your starting point is at. As a matter of fact, before I go into the net 30 credit cards, DM my team credit if you would like to book a free call with my team. DM them credit. So whether you need to talk about funding, credit, if you're trying to do one-on-one coaching, DM my team. They're in the office now. I'm not used to going live this early. I actually thought it was 11:30 p.m. But it's only 11:30 a.m. West Coast time. I thought it was nighttime. I was like, gee, y'all rocking with me late tonight, but it's daytime because I'm not used to going live this early in the day. So be mindful of the type of credit card you apply for, because a lot of people are pushing you guys to do net 30 credit cards. Okay? Who do I DM? Just DM me, Jordy, and somebody from my team will reach out to you. Okay? So, the Amex, you must be drunk. No, Cayman, you know I be delirious sometimes because I be on go mode, man. Shout out to my brother Cayman Kelly from XM Radio over at Heart and Soul. Man, appreciate you, bro. So, the Amex charge card, that's a net 30 card. The Divvy, that's a net 30 card. Now, I have a window, but I be so in my zone, Queen, I don't be paying attention to like my surroundings. And I be in different time zones. Just don't mind me. For people who know me personally, they'll tell you I be in a world of my own. So don't mind me. So Divvy, net 30 card. Capital on tap, net 30 card. Colton, I saw you just hopped on. Let me know if you can go live, Colton. I can't request you. Colton, let me know if you can go live. I have a credit card with a low limit that I never activated. Should I use it or close it? How low is the limit? Because if they don't have an annual fee, you may want to keep it because you may need to use that to start building some credit worthiness. So hey Colton, request me to go live. I can't request you. I want to talk about this Capital on Tap. Be conscious of these Net 30 credit cards. They'll jam you up. They will jam you up. But these are the cards that everybody is pointing at and telling you to go and get. What up, King Colton?
What's going on, Will? How you doing? I think it was like 2015. Me and my wife, we tried a course. We didn't know nothing about you, or else we would have went with you the first time. But we didn't know nothing about real estate. We were new, and we got into a program then, and it was a scam, and they're actually in the middle of a lawsuit. Like it's crazy right now. They're still getting sued. But when I joined your REI 90, it was completely different. Like, you didn't just like give me some random person's number and then just completely like leave me stranded. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gave me strategies, and if something was kind of like didn't work out, you helped me get out of that position and kind of maneuver around it. It was never like, okay, that's a problem, now you're just stuck. It's like, okay, let's see what the problem is, and let's figure out how to fix it. So that's kind of what you've been doing for me. So it's been good.
Definitely, man. So let's talk about your credit building journey. I know, you had went out there, and I remember once you came to me, was a little bit in kind of a jam situation because somebody told you that the Capital on Tap was a good credit card to have. And I'm talking to people about, first of all, credit is not income, and we have to learn what cards benefit you for your scenario. And for someone who is brand new to building credit and leveraging credit and using credit to build businesses and income, tell them why Capital on Tap is not an ideal card.
Because the thing that they don't tell you is they might tell you, okay, we can get you 50,000 on Capital on Tap, and you get hyped. You're like, okay, cool, I can get 50,000. But when you run that 50,000 up, when that bill comes in next month, you're gonna be paying 20, 30,000 just to make that monthly payment. And they don't tell you that. You know what I mean? They probably charge you to help you get that card, and they probably charge you some crazy fees to get that 50,000. But then they probably honestly don't even know how that card works.
Most of them don't.
And it's funny too that you bring it up, because it's been a few months now. I actually had somebody DM me and it said, hey, I can get you, some capital and things like that. So of course, knowing the knowledge that I know now working with you, I was like, okay, let me play this game with them. So I started asking them questions, and we keep going back and forth. And I said, okay, so how many of these cards are going to be net 30? He didn't even know what a net 30 was. But he was coming to me trying to give me some capital, and then that's when the conversation ended. I'm like, you don't even know what a net 30 is, but you want to give me some capital. You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, they really don't know. They go get all these credit cards thinking they're the gurus, but they probably never use the credit cards in their life. So when somebody runs it up 50, 60,000, now they got to make a monthly payment of 30,000. It's like they have no idea what they're going to do, and they get jammed up.
Man, definitely. Colton, man, I appreciate you hopping on here, just sharing your experience and just giving people some real life knowledge so they think it's just not me hating on Capital on Tap. It's not just me. So what would be like some parting words you would give someone who's looking to kind of really move the needle in their life? What advice would you give them?
I mean, first I would go with Will.
Like, appreciate that.
Yeah, I wouldn't look anywhere else. I've heard some people like even ask you the question like, okay, Will, where should I go and try to get advice? And it was like, well, that's kind of like a crazy question, because you just found the place that you need to go to get that advice.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So first one, definitely you need that mentor, which would be Will. And then at that point, you just need to make sure that this is something that you want to do, because it's not for somebody who's I don't want to say weak, but just maybe not ready, because there's definitely some times when it's going to be a lot of pressure, it's going to be a lot of stress. But when you have Will and you have somebody with that knowledge, you kind of you can kind of put that trust in somebody like Will to kind of help navigate you through it, and at the same time you kind of build that knowledge yourself, so then the next time it comes up, you know how to navigate yourself also.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate that, Colton. Well, thank you for hopping on. I know we're gonna be talking soon, and man, I'll talk to you soon, King.
Okay, you too. I appreciate you. Be safe.
Appreciate it, man. King Colton, Not only is he a one-on-one coaching client, he's a REI 90 alum. He out there doing his thing, helping a lot of people. And Colton just actually invested in a home healthcare business, leveraging his credit. So he out there making moves. He's moving the needle, as he said, and he gonna continue to do so. Somebody asked, what is a net 30? Great question. A net 30 is anytime someone extends you credit and you have 30 days to pay it back in full. So prime example, you hear people talking about net 30 accounts aren't just vendor accounts. Credit cards are also net 30. Net 30 is just a terminology used, which means you have a net 30 days. That's the term you have to pay it back. They also have net 7 terms. They have net 1 terms. There are some no doc loans, MCA loans, where you have to pay them back daily. Let me say that again. There are also net 1 terms where you have to pay them back daily. Typically, the interest rate is extremely high. Y'all better be careful. So as I'm wrapping up, credit is not income. So like some of those, charge cards are net 30 cards. Anything where you have to pay in full in 30 days. I had no idea. I'm assuming net 30 credit cards had net 30. I used to give my clients invoices for net 30. Total wellness. Yeah, absolutely correct. Can you speak on charge-offs? Pristine Empire. What would you like to know? I mean, here's the thing. I think people get caught up too much in the type of debt that's reporting. Let me give you guys some information or some data. So I posted a video about how I bought my property using a credit card yesterday. And 90% of the questions in my DM had nothing to do with how to do it. Most of the questions was them talking themselves out of why they wouldn't do it. And I actually made a video. I haven't posted it yet. And it got me to thinking that the reason why it's hard for people to get off the porch and get in the game is because they're too focused on things that doesn't really impact the outcome of the end result. And so I often tell people, when it comes to the type of debt you have, so that you don't overcomplicate it. And this is why sometimes I don't go into the weeds unless you're in my master classes. But on the internet, because a person will take a sound bite and don't have the full context of what I'm saying. And so they get half the information. And that's why you have people out there who are credit gurus who don't know what a net 30 is, because they took a sound bite and they don't have the full context. So when it comes to charge-offs, collections, repossessions, just know all of it is debt. All of it can be disputed. I got you, supermodels. The only difference with a charge-off is that they wrote a portion of the debt off on their taxes. But if you don't know the legalese laws to actually dispute it properly, it doesn't even matter. So not necessarily saying that to you, fam, but what I'm saying is that we have to understand that, first of all, we have the right to dispute anything reported negatively that's inaccurate, incomplete, and unverifiable. There's no loopholes. There's no new loopholes that are out there. The credit laws have not changed significantly. So just know that there is nothing new that anybody is doing. Most people don't know what they're doing, and they're crossing their fingers, throwing letters against the wall, hope they stick. And most of these people who are utilizing consumer law, some of them are good, I'm not going to lie, but the bulk of them are horrible. And so, because it is a process, consumer law is not an overnight credit repair process. Just know that. That's why I went out and hired the best, Tiffany Hill Esquire. She's my consumer law attorney. She's also my contract law attorney. My company has her on retainer. I've recommended her for a lot of my clients. So if you want to get with the best of the best, that's who you're going to get. Okay? That's who you're going to get. All right. I think Dr. O had a question. Oh, somebody asked about my thoughts on Shelf Corps. I'm a fan of them. I have a Shelf Corp. I have 2 of them now. But here's the thing, and why most people don't have experience or success with Shelf Corps. You have people on the internet telling you to go and buy dissolved companies. That's horrible advice. Because here's what happens. Let's say you go on the Secretary of State and buy a dissolved company. That company may have debt tied to it. That company may be in a lawsuit and they dissolved it. That company may not have may have back taxes. And you can't transfer an EIN number. That's the equivalent of trying to transfer your social security number. You can't. So when it comes to shelf corps or seasoned companies, you have to know what you're doing. And most people don't know how. See, my process with it is, first of all, you don't go and buy them on the website that actively promotes them. That's the first red flag, because banks actually go and research that information. Secondly, you don't go and resurrect an old company. Thirdly, just because a company is old doesn't mean you get more money if you don't have financials. So we actually have a process, and I've documented all of this, where I've posted the result. I've posted my seasoned company. I've posted the result of my credit card approvals. My most recent approval was a $40,000 credit card from Wells Fargo on a seasoned company that I set up about 2 months ago. But that's because I built it out the right way. Now I tell people, if you're not willing to pay to play, buying a seasoned company, don't waste your time. See, it costs money to cut corners. Somebody type that in the chat. It costs money to cut corners. You can't cut corners on a budget. It doesn't work that way. In business, it doesn't work that way. It costs money to cut corners. And if you're trying to get a seasoned corp and think you're going to spend $500, you're in the wrong place. Costs money to cut corners, 100%. I'm telling y'all. I need to make that a shirt, because too many people think cutting corners is cheap. No, because if you don't do it right, you got to pay twice. So it costs money to cut corners. Period. Somebody asked another question. What is your advice on debt settlement companies? I'm not a fan of them, because debt settlement companies, essentially what they tell you to do is let all of your debt default, and then they go and try to find a loan for you to pay it off. But guess what? Now you're in this repayment plan for 3 to 7 years, and you can't do anything with your credit for 3 to 7 years. You can't even dispute the debt. So no, you press shirts. Hey, reach out to me, honchos. I think I pronounced it right. Let's do it. I got a couple of them. I got several one-liners we can put out there, and we can split the cost. Debt settlement companies are the biggest crock of BS to get tied into. Now, what you can make an attempt to do is go get an installment loan and get an installment loan to pay off the debt, so you'll have one payment. That's the only strategy I would recommend, but I wouldn't do a debt settlement company. I would rather, and this is not legal advice, so I don't want y'all tagging me to people's podcasts, but you would actually come out quicker filing bankruptcy than doing a debt settlement company, depending on your scenario. Every scenario is different. But like I say, this is why you want to speak with the strategist and a professional, because everybody has a different starting point. Super Dave says, so much game, just trying to keep up. Appreciate that. Thank you. Bet I'm DMing you, Chief. Yes, yeah, send me a message. Let's get some money together. Cutting corners costs money. And so, like Colton said, like Dr. O said, look, aren't y'all tired of getting burned out here? Aren't y'all tired of having to pay twice because you paid somebody who really didn't know what they were talking about? Aren't you tired of being stuck in the same spot year after year? Aren't you tired being at the New Year Eve party saying this is my year when your previous year, when this year still looked like last year? When are you going to move the needle? But until you're willing to make an investment in yourself, you're going to continue to be in the exact same position as you've been in the past 5 years. I posed a question yesterday. What is the largest investment you've made in self? And if it's in your car, in your wardrobe, in your closet, in your vacations, in your purses, in your sneakers, something is wrong, especially if you're 30 plus. You need to invest in you. You need to invest in information that's going to move the needle financially. Because I'm tired of people saying they want generational wealth, but they're not doing anything generational to create the wealth. Credit is not income. That's why I had this topic today. I've been through that. I got it taken care of, my credit myself. I was able to get $25,000 business credit through Amex, piggybacking off my personal credit. Good stuff. So if you want to book a free strategy call with my team, DM me the word credit. Have an opportunity to speak with one of my advisors on credit, real estate, funding, etc. Can I send clients to you for those strategies about debt settlement? Absolutely. Absolutely. We can work out an affiliate agreement too. Absolutely. I want it to be a three-way win. A win for the both of us as well for the client. Also, I opened up my one-on-one coaching again, and I'm giving one person an opportunity to get my one-on-one coaching at 50% off. One-on-one. You get direct access to me. You get my cell phone number. We go over strategies. My goal is to help you to move the needle. I didn't say you're going to be a millionaire by the end of the year, because your work ethic may not be millionaire-ish just yet. But I promise you, you focus and do everything that you're supposed to do, because I'm going to give you the strategies. I'm going to give you the concepts. Eventually you can get there. But let's make an extra $1,000 a month first. Will is currently helping me buy a seasoned company. Appreciate that, Brian. One-on-one coaching, handsome figures. Send me a direct message. Let my team speak with you. They handle all pricing. If you're on TikTok, DM me the word help if you want one-on-one coaching. Handsome figures, follow me on Instagram or email me, will@wemanagementservices.com. will@wemanagementservices.com, and I'll have one of my advisors book a free call with you. Let's move the needles in our lives. This is not income. I need millionaire-ish on my shirt. Supermodel Jazz. Let's put it together. Hunchos. Hope you getting these one-liners, man. Hope you getting these one-liners. I've been throwing them out for about an hour and a half. This is not income, y'all. This is not real. As good as it looks, as good as it sounds when you let it hit that table, as impressed as the person who takes this card may be with you. This is not income. This is just a tool that you can utilize to create income. All right. Did you say you sell seasoned companies? Yes, Lauren. Send me a direct message. I'm having a hard time finding land to buy right now for the cheap. Can you help with that? I don't know what you consider cheap, but you can send me a message, DL. Will@wemanagementservices.com. Will, WILL, at wemanagementservices.com. Did you say you sell seasoned companies? Yes, I saw somebody say something about the books. What's the name of those law books real quick on real estate? Yes, they're all dictionary term. They're dictionary by Barron. If you go to Amazon, you can buy all of them. Dictionary of real estate terms. I'll hold all of them up. Dictionary of business and economics. Let me see, Ronald. Just hit 800 this year on all 3 reports. Started nearly 4 years ago. Ronald, congratulations. And I like the fact that you pointed out you started 4 years ago. This journey doesn't happen overnight. Kudos to King Ronald. Dictionary of banking terms. And then you got the law dictionary. And then you got the Black Laws Dictionary. You can get all of these from Amazon. These should be in your house no matter what you do for a living. I don't care if you walk dogs. You need to have those. Amex really was a flex for me. Didn't use it properly in the past. Supermodel Jazz, I appreciate you being transparent with that. Can you DM me? I haven't found it yet. DMV_Bulls. Send me a direct message. Okay? I need your team to reach out to me. I was talking to someone and never got back with me. Eli the Beast 10. Send me a direct message. I'll have somebody reach out to you. We can pull the records so we can find out who you actually spoke to. So again, this is not income. This is used to go out there to create income. So again, send me a direct message, either credit or help if you would like one-on-one coaching. Again, I'm giving one lucky individual an opportunity to get it at half off. And I may even bring back a day with Will for July. I did it in March and I got an opportunity to have somebody come and spend the day with me. We worked on their strategy. We went to lunch and then I took them to the UFC fight. We were on the floor and I took my team. We got to take pictures. Shout out to I forgot her name, Miss Kelly, who actually was able to come out here and spend the day with me. So I'm thinking about bringing it back for July. Knowledge_8732. DM me help. DM me help. Okay. So I may bring it back. Y'all let me know if I should bring this back. So for July, I'm thinking about bringing back a day with Will, where I'm going to pick one lucky individual where you get to fly out here, spend the day with me. We're going to go over your business strategy, your business goals. We're going to go to lunch. I'm located in Las Vegas. And then we're going to go to the UFC fight in July. And if y'all don't know, like, we're not sitting up in the rafters. We're on the floor. I'm actually going to UFC in Canada this weekend. So if you want to have an opportunity, I actually have an extra ticket for Canada. If somebody who wants to come to Canada, I'm being Vancouver. I have an extra UFC ticket. I may even do a contest, but you got to get to Canada by Friday. But nevertheless, July, I'm going to do the contest again. Sitting in the trees. Right, Wayne? No, tell them we sit on the floor, baby. What up, Crown? I'm going to give one lucky individual an opportunity for July to come and spend the day with me. We're going to spend a few hours going over your business. We're going to go to lunch. And the last lunch we went to, we did brunch at STK's. And then we're going to go to the fight. Floor seats, UFC, pay-per-view. So we're not talking about just a regular fight. No, we're talking about pay-per-view, prime time television. Matter of fact, I think my guest actually even was on television because the UFC film crew was out there when we was walking up to the T-Mobile Arena. You know, they was getting pictures of people. So, see, lucky is. All right, Benjamin Clark said, bring it back. What's the business and economics book? John Pete, it teaches you in its terminology on business and economics, something that I should actually buy copies and give to all of these gurus on the internet who telling people to run up and start all these businesses, but they don't even have a CFO, operations manager, and nor do they know economics and the cost of money. But they can go get it themselves. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Let's go out there. Let's continue to be great. My team is in the office. John Pete said he's trying to buy on Amazon right now. Absolutely. Again, DM me or email me. And again,